Hi, I'm Tim and you're watching Mr. Tim Tech on YouTube. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Ubiquiti UniFi Pro Max 16 Etherlighting Rackmount Kit, and here it is, which I purchased with my own money, and here in the UK it costs about £65 delivered. It's not the cheapest of course, but to be honest I think sort of they've got the market there because they know that the Etherlighting switches, which don't come with the rack mount kits, do look better with these rack mount kits mounted at the side, and of course the switch then mounted in the rack with your other devices, should you have a rack that is. Now I decided to purchase this because looking at my network cabinet, the switch is just sat on top of another device at the moment and it just doesn't look aesthetically pleasing. I'll bring up a picture now so you can see what it's like if you haven't seen it before. And as you can see, it's just sat on one of the top of the other units, which doesn't look its best. I mean, it looks okay, but it would look better with the rack mount kit. Hence why I decided to purchase a rack mount kit. So what we'll do is unbox the rack mount kit now and take a look inside and see what we get. And then what I'll do is mount the rack mount kit on the switch, and then what I'll do is put the switch mounted in the rack on the cabinet, and then I'll bring you up a picture when I've finished mounting it so you can see the difference between what it looked like before and then of course after. So we'll get onto that unboxing now. So here we are, and I've just peeled the strip off the front there of the box, and then with the box on the front we have a picture of the actual rack mount kit, and then at the side it's saying Pro Max 16 rack mount kit, and then at the bottom we have the Ubiquiti hologram with the barcodes and product numbers and so on. So in the box we have one piece of metal. It's quite heavy actually, so that's where the actual rack mount kit goes in, so that's one of the larger side ears as well. Then on the side of the box we have the usual standard rack mount ear, and again that's solid metal. That's got a bit of weight to it as well. So we'll just open this up, and inside we have a packet of screws. So we have the screws for mounting it in the rack. I'm not going to use these as I use rack studs, so I won't be needing those, but what I will be needing in the other third little sub packet there at the end is the screws for actually fixing the rack mount kit together. So then we have as well the plastic lid, which is solid plastic. It's quite firm, not flimsy. It's probably made of some kind of plastic, maybe ABS. Anyway, it's yeah, plastic, so there you go. Then final bit, we have the actual rack mount kit, which again is got a bit of weight to it, and it's solid metal. And in the box we have a lot of packaging in there, which is cardboard, so it can be recycled, so we put that to one side. Then what we'll do is open the actual cage itself, where the power supply goes into, and I believe this plastic is actually recyclable as well, because it feels like the type of plastic that can be recycled. I believe some of these plastics are made of potato starch or something like that, so it certainly feels like it can be recycled, this plastic. So we just open the rack mount ear as well. So this is the larger one, and it should slide out of the yeah, there we go. So that's the large rack mount ear, which fixes on the side of the rack mount box as well, the tray sort of thing. And then we have the little rack mount ear, of course, again in this what I presume is recyclable plastic. And there's the standard rack mount ear. So here we have the tray. So what happens is the external power brick or power supply, whatever you want to call it, fits in there. Then the cabling runs round the clips at the end, and then there's a recessed hole there where the power supply input would go. So you connect the power cable coming in, and it will go into the power supply at that end there, and then this mounts onto the side of the switch. So what we'll do is I'll get the switch out and we'll fit the rack mount kit to it. So we'll do that now. So here we are with the 16 port Pro Max Etherlighting Switch. So there we go, and I'm going to be mounting this at the side of the switch, and it will be the right hand side if you were looking at it from the front, so that the screen lines up left with the UDM SE and also the other devices as well, so it lines up all to the left, so it looks a bit more aesthetically pleasing. So what we need to do first is release the two covers at the side. So I've got a small screwdriver for that, and these apparently do fly off, so you have to be careful when you're releasing them. So you just put the screwdriver under the recess there, best to put your hand there, and there we go, one's popped off. And then what we'll do is put a hand there again and slowly release it, and the other one just flew off even though my hand was there, but I've managed to recover it. So put those to one side, and then the rack mount kit. So with the hole at the back, that goes towards the back of the switch for the power cable to enter into. So what we need to do is get the screws, and the other ear, we'll get that ready. So here we are with the screws. We've opened the packet, release those, put those there. Now these are the screws that lock into place, so let's use those. And you get 1, 2, 5 of these. Actually, so there's 6. There's one there that got astray, so which makes sense. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, I believe. Let's just double check. Yeah, they do actually fit. So there's 4 that side, and then the other 2 go the other side for the rack mount ear. So 2 go into that. So we need to remove the front cover from the opposite side so that the short rack mount ear can go. The back one on the other side is not used, so we'll just remove that cover as well. And they managed to catch it this time. So what we'll do is mount the small ear first, which locks in. It's got a metal bit, so it's recessed, so it's protruding out, and that sits in the recess there at the side of the switch. So we just put those 2 screws in, just hand tighten them first, and then we're using a Phillips style screwdriver to tighten them up, and just semi-tighten them both first before fully tightening them. They are tight. So we'll go back to the other side where we're going to mount the tray for the power supply. So this is the main rack mount kit. So this is probably the expensive bit, and also the large rack mount here as well is probably the expensive bit. So we'll put that there at the, so that lines up there, and the rack mount here of course goes towards the front. So this bit, long bit protruding out, does not go to the back there. It goes to the front, which obviously logically makes sense. So again, we'll just put those screws, semi-tighten them. Apologies for the noise in the background if you can hear that. I've got air conditioning going. And then there we go, that's tightened up. And the 4th screw, and there we go, they're all tightened, and that will not move again. So then the kit, the tray, whatever you want to call it, let's move those plastic things. I would recommend keeping those plastic covers that you popped out of the switch just for future use. You never know when you might need them. So the tray just sits in, and as you can see, it's got sort of a key-shaped hole there. So it sits in and then locks forward, sort of thing. And there, it's actually clicked and locked in. Now, if you can see this, there's a button there, and there's an identical one the opposite side here. Now, to release this and unlock it, the tray, you have to press the button. So it's the inside button that you hold in and then push the tray back and it will actually unlock it to release it. That's actually a good idea, good design that. I like that. So again, we'll lock the tray in place. As you can see, it's locked in. And then what we'll do is mount the power supply. So as I said, this goes to the rear where that hole is. So there's a hole through there and that lines up with that. So it just sits in that tray comfortably, and it does sit comfortably in there. There is a little bit of movement, so a little bit of play in that, as you can hear. And then what we do is push the cable. Hopefully you can see this. Try and do it so you can see it. So that would sit in there. And then the cable, what it does is wraps around these two sort of ears, as I call them. And then it will get threaded up the top. The centre bit, the centre cable goes in there. So the cable coming from the power brick actually pushes in this groove in the centre. There's a groove there and it fits the cable actually perfectly. And then there's a recess there where the cable exits out and goes round. And then for this one, going back up, there's a recess all along the side, and then there's an outlet, which I'll show you in a second. So this recess for the cable going into the back of the switch, so this is the USB-C cable end, goes up and along that groove, and then it pushes out through the side, and then that clicks in there. So you've only got that much cable sticking out the back to power the device. So we just push this cable firmly in place, and there you go. So that's the connection into the USB back, and then that cable excess goes around there, and that actually holds that in place and stops it sort of falling out completely with that groove being there. So then what we do is put the lid on, which has two little grooves at the back there. So they just sit in that groove on the back of this, and then it just clicks in place. So there's a clicking mechanism at the front here. So then it just clicks in, and there you go. That's the all the power and cable in that side bit. So it looks a lot neater. It's just a shame that they don't supply this as default with the switch. I know it would make the switch a bit more expensive, but maybe it would be worth it. I don't know. But I suppose they have the reasons for not including it so that they market the switches at a reasonable cost. And for those that don't have cabinets, as we don't all have cabinets and rack mount, you know, kits, whatever. So then to release this and undo this cover, you just pull the lever back, and then it lifts up. So there we go. So what I'll do is mount the switch, and there's a switch with the Rackmount Kit. Yeah, that looks good actually. So it'll look better mounted in the rack, certainly with this on. So I think it's a worthwhile investment actually. One thing, I did have trouble getting these Rackmount kits. Now, they were out of stock for about 2 weeks, but I did subscribe to the in-stock notifications, and as soon as I got the notification email, probably, I think it was about 3 hours later, I managed to order it. So, and it arrived 2 days later. So you might have to be patient if they're out of stock again, and just subscribe to the in-stock emails on Ubiquiti. Right, so moving on, we'll mount this in the rack, and then I'll show you the picture afterwards so you can see the difference before and after. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.